Dear viewers, listeners, hello everyone. I am a teacher Fufu Helling. Welcome to Watch Again Surprised Universe. Today I talk about topics. 1908 Tunguska explosion. That we can speak. 2020 is now the. Why should? What happened 110 years ago? Of course, this is a very interesting topic. Why is it interesting? Because this is a meteorite. But no one admits it was a meteorite. You go to Google on Wiki. Did not find any record of meteorite. This is because the world does not recognize a meteorite. But it has a big bang. It is said that the world meteorite. But cannot find meteorites. This is the main purpose of my talk today. Well, let's look. This is a reduction of the Big Bang. After it was bombed in 1908, 1921 to 1927. Kursk, Russia. A very famous Russian geologist. I think this event should be called Kursk, because he spent a lifetime of effort to find the meteorite. I'm sorry, but finally did not find. Died in German concentration camps inside 1942. So the right is the simulation. It is the condition when landing. Left 1921-1927. He went 3 photographs. Above his photographs. Here is now scientists. There are more than 10 individual research on this topic. Now scientists into the Tunguska. This is very inconvenient traffic, in Siberia there. Then take a picture. We make a comparison, when they go in the right photo. Well, I'm going to talk about where the Tunguska. We can look. I have the red dot. Tunguska is its location. It's the bottom of Lake Baikal. The lower left corner of Lake Baikal. There is a little known Irkutsk. Irkutsk has a lot of earthquake observatory with the red dot of Tunguska. A distance of nearly 970 kilometers. There are 970 kilometers. I got this picture. It's for everyone to see several locations. We look at several positions. Tunguska represents the position. Lake Baikal looks with close. In fact, probably worse, over 900 kilometers. This is a U.S. paper. I put this paper out in 1966. An expert of the United States NASA. Note: NASA is still studying this topic. January 24, 2020. Also opened a special review will be. My inside information I cannot say the latest. But my new January 24th. Well, this is 1966. They enter into the inside. Take a picture. After the aerial done, so a map. We see black spots at the top of. Is an explosion of location. Lake Baikal below. Then they notice too. Right there is a Kirinsk. Kelensyk. This place is observatories. Below the lower left of a Lake Baikal. Irkutsk is an observatory. Note: I have this picture to show you 2 orientations. One is in the south, one is in the east. June 30th, 1908, 7:17 a.m. In Russia, such a Evenk autonomous region of Siberia. The occurrence of a Big Bang. So this place does. The 800 kilometers northwest of Lake Baikal. It depends from where the operator. Ab initio may be 800 kilometers. From the bottom be 970 kilometers. North latitude and longitude for your reference. And then the power of nearly. According to current estimates now. 15 million to 20 million tons of yellow explosive. The equivalent of 1,000 Hiroshima bombs 1001. So there are 88 million trees all fall down. Covers an area of 2,150 square kilometers. I am following the last line. Currently this ecosystem forest has been gradually restored in. The photo was taken aerial photos. So this tells you all, look. This place is an event occurs. You see middle empty. Locations of the attacks. So this place does. Where is the main area? Krasnoye Magnitogorsk border area. This is what has happened in an area of the lower right corner. above the lower right corner of Lake Baikal. Probably pull over more than 800 kilometers. Its location Lake Baikal. This is my Google from the, in fact, satellite map. Below is Lake Baikal. Intermediate piece blue circle. Then there is a yellow point above. The yellow dot is the location of the Tunguska explosion site. Until recently this position, with satellite observation gradually confirmed, were previously vague never know. This is a real shot you see empty. The middle of the Earth did not grow very well. Middle Earth still not well. My position is where the yellow. Then you see this. Next are very empty. Then this picture tell you. Hiroshima, Japan is 1,000 times. Hiroshima, Japan 1,000 times. That this picture. This is me help you sort out. Kosei said the same day in the northern Baikal. There is a huge ball of fire. Noticed a huge fire. Its brightness considerably with the sun. A few minutes later a bright light illuminating the sky. Shockwave. 650 kilometers note. All windows within 650 kilometers shattered. Earthquake waves can be heard 800 kilometers away. Seismic waves can be heard. Asia, Europe, the night sky appears dark red color. Noted that this phenomenon, only when the shuttle returned to Earth. Because the space shuttle to return into atmosphere came several dozens of Mach. Came in. The atmosphere has stirred a dark red. The atmosphere of agitation dark red. Only space shuttle appears. But it turned out in 1908. It is said that this kind of thing, atmospheric transparency at least a few months before the fall. In particular, I asked this Eastern production team. Done so a table. This is what I took 4 different foreign objects. Why I am here to say exotic matter, because the question mark. In 1908 he did not admit it at all, worldwide. Because you cannot find the crater, cannot find meteorites, hit a question mark. The first 6,500 years. Everyone knows that we, in Mexico Hixuluobo. This place does have a meteorite. It can be the diameter of the crater 180 kilometers. Is the size of a large meteorite 10 kilometers. Asteroid should be considered. Asteroid hit the ground. Okay, meteorite crater produced. But caused mass extinction. Because 65 million years ago. So a 10 kilometers large, alien asteroid fell to Earth. So that the destruction of all dinosaurs, then mammals. Humans gradually get the status of power. So it should be grateful. Otherwise, dinosaurs ruled the world now. The following is a 5 years, Northern Arizona, United States, Flagstaff town. There is a pit called Barringer. We went to check Barringer pit can be seen. This is basically not a big meteorite. It is just 10 kilometers, it is 50 meters, but it caused to return to the incoming speed. 12.8 to 20 kilometers per second. Resulting in 1,200 meters. Sorry, about 1.2 kilometers. 1.2 kilometers, 1,200 meters. 1.2 kilometers diameter pit. The third is what we call Tunguska. It is 5 to 10 kilometers airburst. Then its speed is very weird. From 72 kilometers down to 1 kilometers per second. Then it's the size of it. According to the US NASA, the latest estimate for 2020. About 30 to 40 meters. According to this curric talk about it at least. Each of which has more than 130 tons. But because that technology developed, it can only be visual. It then causes the ground has 50 small funnel. I do not call pit, but I wrote pits. We are more likely to understand there is a funnel. Then there is the sound of 3 explosions. 3 times. So probably look something like this. Then again is this. Why do I want in 1940? Chinese Ming Dynasty Qingyang out. Because the meteorite. Ming recorded history there behind me speak. 1,000 people die is not injured. And there are a bunch of. There are more than 10,000 marbles fall. Each stone is heavy 1.5 kilograms. Is not very similar with the Tunguska. We do not know. Is Barringer. This is the Barringer crater. Diameter 1.2 kilometers. It is said that there is an iron meteorite below, but I still have not dug. Here I have talked about the world's 3 major explosions. So I call Tunguska this topic. But the study they call Tunguska phenomenon. Then the Tunguska explosion. Number 1908 is June 30th. 7:17 a.m. The second Big Bang. 3,600 years ago in India Mohenjo-daro. It is a ruin. It has a temperature of 1,400 to 1,500 degrees Celsius, so the reason that the Big Bang did not know. China is our third time. May 30th, 1626. Beijing wine gong factory explosion. Wine gong factory explosion. So this inside me first. Put the first movie, okay. Put first film. My film is 2012 DA14. Security through the Earth. Number 2013 February 15th. Security through the Earth. 30 to 40 meters. Quite the size of a football field. Then it's time through the Earth. The Earth from south to north over. 270,000 kilometers pass. 270,000 kilometers from the nearest. That is equivalent to a synchronous satellite. Distance with GPS satellites. Already within the Earth with lunar distance of the Earth's moon and about 380,000 kilometers within it. Then DA14. Naked eye can see it. Sorry, invisible to the naked eye, but if you use the two-hole, the telescope can see two holes. Asia-Europe Observatory in Spain. This is the La Sagra Observatory in Spain. They caught out. Here it is then the location of its distance, the relationship between the Earth with relative. So through this thing with ancient. You see a track. In 2012 DA14 this tracking can be tracked. So the size of 20 to 40 meters. Hit the Earth how to do it. This is the only NASA doing good movie. Associated with the Tunguska he talked about. It is with a similar Tunguska. This is live. This is not live to see. Picture taken on June 30th, 1908. This is 1927. Into the scene saw the scene Kurik. After atmospheric explosion. We're 820 square miles. This one is the establishment of a United States, a director of the Near-Earth Object Office. Called Dr. Don Yeomans. He used to describe this phenomenon. He said NASA has seen the asteroid. Telling everyone not to worry. Where then this thing? This is the Spanish observatory has seen. You see track, each point per point, all trace its trajectory. After each point tracking, put it on the computer simulation of the trajectory, immediately render immediate show up for you to see. When then enter into the range of the geosynchronous orbit. So says this represents a very dangerous. If it comes in, the effect is produced. Second Tunguska explosion, came in on February 15, 2013. 40 to 50 meters. Well, we see here. Indicate that this asteroid basically. Is it sinking like us? January 24, 2020. NASA held a meeting this. Now he did not come to the meeting to see. This represents a great inside knowledge is very demanding. I have a scarlet letter. 1,000 researchers are studying. 1,000 people including now. And then. The first study is the late 1920s. Probably 1921 to 1927 yen. Kurik began to study. Then this is NASA 2019 year view. It noted that there are two. This has left a blue notice. This is all the trees were standing over there. With the same poles. The more blue areas on behalf of the more synaptic. Poles to stand over there. Probably its distance it. About 50 meters by 50 meters range. Blue piece by piece. Then the blue of the more concentrated. On behalf of its greater density, stand up but the skin was gone. Leather are gone. This one is the right to tumble. The more red the more representative of the area to fall. This is NASA 2019 year view. So they are still studying. Then this is a picture I just say on behalf of the. In this NASA. In the paper published in 1966, to the far right have called Jylensike. From its. Blast from the right point of view this thing. He said the fire at least this thing. Anticlad repeatedly interrupted for 15 minutes, and the sound is 10 times. This is what he said. Then the walls of houses GA. West side walls, the walls rattled northwest. So it's a direct hit over the shockwave, it hit the top of the wall. That is again the most right is the far right. That is the easternmost location, that this is just below. I noticed this figure used to. Voron and called directly beneath notice. They're below me that Voron and arrow. Farmers Voron and see that place. A fireball from their southeast. Fall from their southeast. The following is a notice southeast. East is a different place. This is already a southerly. Why do I give this picture? I'll wait for everyone to see its trajectory. So this thing is red. This is the Lovat is A. This is the place where the red zone. Lake Baikal is below this place, currently belongs to the Republic of Buliate. The place to observe the phenomenon. He said this place. There are at least 2 strong here 2 explosions. But may actually be more than 3 times. He said there were 2 strong explosions. Well then this strange explosion. A cylindrical middle of the mushroom. The cylindrical shape of a mushroom cloud. Only one condition, that is only when the atomic bomb. But he has seen. He said the rising sun is greater than 1. Bright fireball. Fireball occurred. Dozens of kilometers of forest. All were completely destroyed. But I told you all very strange. Some erected no skin. I just fell down some trees for everyone to see. NASA 2019 steady record year. Center of the explosion there was a black hole column diameter of several hundred meters. A deep black hole of a deep well. Then through the center of the explosion from afar. 1,000 kilometers, can be heard the explosion. Where is the explosion of 1,000 kilometers? At this point in the northeast. Explosive sound can be heard for 1,000 kilometers, 5 hours after blast. It is a vortex airflow impact. Directly through the North Sea. Then let the light suddenly went out in London. At the same time pressure across the UK. Steadily falling, steadily falling. Even in Stockholm, Sweden. You can see the sky eternal sun. Ever sunlight to this extent. Then according to this. I just said the right side of this place. It is the east. They find this phenomenon too. He said that this place has a great smoky. This huge black smoke. The middle you can see the track. Walking in a huge black smoke inside. Note oh black smoke. Wait a minute I will put a 2013 Chelyabinsk. That white smoke. We think this is a smoky note. Then just seeing this picture. This says that there are at least 2 explosions. July 15, 1908. Just below its. Which is southeast of the south. He said the earthquake occurred at 9 o'clock in the morning. Then find the underground sound vibrations. 5 to 7 minutes after the second sound. Stronger than the first. The second level attained for the first time stronger. At any time after 1 minute there is another blow. But weaker than the first 2. So in fact, at least 3 voices sound. That this does. That is the right of the village from its east village. He said this thing. See farmers from northwest. There is one thing in a very high place. There is a very strong. But not see a thing. A blue light flashing white. Then from top to bottom. 10 minutes moving from top to bottom. This is a tubular body. There is a tubular thing appears. And is a cylindrical. That cloudless sky. Only the place is not high on the horizon. See such a thing. While noting. My second paragraph read. Observation on the same side of the light emitter. There is an obvious attention to small dark cloud. In addition to body. It also has a small dark cloud. So these are the 2 things. There are 2 things. Then cause the weather is very dry. And the weather is very hot. And when fried. Shiny body almost vague. But in its place. There is a huge body of black smoke. And heard a very strong voice. But no thunderstorm. It does this place. This is Irkutsk. That is my right under the. I pull out the Google map. On the southern tip of Lake Baikal angle. Lake Baikal has a Irkutsk Physical Observatory. Now there. It uses a special instrument. You see that time science and technology. Russia, the Soviet Union and more progress. Its seismograph captured. Earthquake waves 979 kilometers away. I pulled a line 979 kilometers, so it is not only the movement of air. At the same time the impact of the underground movement. It captures the seismograph. The seismograph calculated. Come back to this place backwards. I have a scarlet letter. This man is very great. I have a scarlet letter Russia. A very famous Soviet Russia this. Observatory head of a long table. You go to Google on. His name can be found. This is 60 kilometers from the center of the explosion. Irkutsk heard 2 huge bomb. He heard at least twice is consistent with the previous. In front of a witness. This amount is measured coming out seismograph. Then he and some people. Irkutsk people. Boom collapse. Officials shock people out the door. Shake out a few feet away. Then you wake up. Found a very sharp whistling sound. Sharp sound to indicate that a high frequency. After a high frequency sound. How severe shock. Where is this sound coming from? It is 970 kilometers away from Tunguska. Then the crash site. with a strong bright. Then there are dark clouds. The sound of thunderclouds have 3 or 4 ring. You see there's this 3 to 4 tones. So this is more than twice inside. Third tone is weak as well as the fourth tone. Good to see no one before. 1921 to 1927. Sorry first started. 1908, 11 years later. 13 years later in this Russia. RFSR Academy of Sciences of the USSR. Is the USSR Academy of Sciences, Geological Studies of Kurik. He said no, you must go. So he must find a group led. Note that he went 3 times. This is the first time for the first time. The first has to find a lot of information. That is the sort of character Kurik. This is a 45-year-old 1927. This highly Zongbingjiu. And graduated from the University of St. Petersburg, a BS in mathematics with physics. Then that person does. He is the Soviet Academy of Sciences. Head of Meteorite Department. Because there is no data, I think he should be considered a fellow grade. Fellow grade. So he was able to call. Even went 3 times. This is his photo. The book did not sell Taiwan. This is what I bought from the United States, out of print. This book is the Tunguska. Made it very clear. Here is the man to accompany him into the Tunguska. He found the right is to some tiny particles. But he explained myself clear. But I still mention, in case we can see what. He saw these things in the field. This is the time to go in 1921, see. This man, with his go together. This was what the president of People's Aid Committee. He took with him into the team to go inside. And he has a word below. Why do I use this section? According to him, because when go live. See dead deer at least 1,500. At least 1,500 dead. When they went in 1927. Residents' fear of death do not go there, still in that place. He said then that there. First time too. He went to 600 to 1,000 kilometers place. Did not go, recent nearest location, because there is no way traffic inconvenience, on the back. Into places not near. But he visited a lot of people. He studied its graphics. So this is a picture of his field. This is a Russian, all this is Russian. I gave it into Chinese. It is an intermediate point drop bombs. Then the following 2 lines. It is the flight path. It is up. Flight path so up. He is written like this. It is this picture. They see the future. Some areas near the first area. The first area is a meteorite impact point. 3-second region. That is where they go. Then a 4th area. He is felled forest area. It is the 5th on the left wadi. This is based on their site. Caught these data see figure. The 2nd in March 1927. The 2nd time he went. The 2nd time it does. Reach the actual location. He said very interesting. He now found meteorite is a group of individuals. He corpse. This I turned over directly to Russian. He said the bodies of a group of individuals fall. So instead of a bunch. And to do it this fall wind breaks. Wind breaks on all 4 sides coniferous forest. The windbreak extends to 12 to 10 kilometers. Obviously fell down signs. I said earlier that some NASA is all down. Some skin is not inverted. Then a few square center. There are a few square kilometers. I just picture everyone to read. Then last sentence. He said various sizes covered with a funnel. You cannot say that this funnel hole. Sometimes a few funnel 10 meters wide. I do not know a few meters deep. This is the result of their research. Then this is actually. They draw a diagram. Most locations. Tunguska River, atop. Tunguska River upstream. I tell you that this does. 1490 is Hongji Emperor Hongji in 3 years. That is, 1490. Time maybe March 21st. Or April 19th. Because this is the day of the official book talk. This time really do not know. It said Qingyang District. Where is this in Qingyang District? This is probably the area in Shanxi and Gansu. Stone fall like rain. The larger is about 4 pounds 1.5 kilograms. Small 2 to 3-4 pounds is probably about 1 kilogram. The falling stone is difficult to calculate, as big as a small pebble water chestnut. More than 10,000 people were killed. Others fled. This is what we have recorded in history. Why did it take this thing? Because this matter did not fall pit. But it has its meteorites. This is a record of meteorite that even the Tunguska meteorite cannot find. Good third expedition. His main aim toward the magnetic field lines. So, when expressed in 1928, Russian Academy of Sciences, the time his magnetic field lines are found. But the current situation does not see it released. Did not see it released. This is its river. It noted that the position of the river, that red dot is its landing point. After the direction of the river, this figure places the arrow. Trading post called the Vanavar. Vanavar trading post. This is all. From that place at that time one of the largest towns. It is a trading post. That trading post there are 200 kilometers away. So you see how you go. This is Kurik seeing photos. This is my book. I put that book in 2011. In fact in 1927 into the time photos. You can see the tree or dumping. This is very typical photo. This 1921-1927. Kurik into 3 photographs. This is the site you can see photos. Straight trunk at a root side. Skin are gone. This is also. Find the middle is the middle of a pond. Nothing in. This is the time to go Kurik. After Tunguska River. Because we see the river relatively recent thing. So he sailed from. Into the river from Ankara. I just say that this is a trading post. This is a photo of the famous fool. Kurik left is the protagonist. He asked the right is an employee. He is to take care of him. Finally, he was sick, he even accompanied him. And there are a lot of stories. This adventure story I do not speak. Then the focus. The center of the combustion zone, interspersed with flat funnel. 30 kilometers wide. I'm sure the combustion zone 30 kilometers wide. Windbreaks area not less than 50. Then there are a lot of deep and shallow funnel. Above all fresh moss floating on top. And now turned into a swamp. Now is the swamp. Then the experts to study. But at that time they considered. Already expert. He said the movement speed of 72 kilometers per second. From 72 kilometers down to 1 kilometer, each one. This is Kurik talking about 130 tons, 130 tons. He estimates, so this funnel it formed. He has always stressed the funnel, because he could not see the meteorites. But it was not the lack of aerial photography. So he cannot determine the position of the relevant. He photographed in 1927. Here say the 1927 photo shoot. You see all sloping down. Another point sloping down leaves. Straight leaves are not even sorry. Straight saw no leaves no. Several areas. I just have to let the photo. This is the site. Top left of the more interesting one. Others have gone A. Saw no one. One by one all the skin is gone. Is a straight. On the right you see is A. Well then why did I write it in red? Kurik is the hearts of regret. Prior to the spring of hope. Before spring 1927. I'm sorry to get a meteorite. It is not. Then this means that I am following. In this crash site. Here from 1,000 kilometers away. Sound waves roar. Where is this place in the Republic of Saka? We can see. I pulled a distance. That is left Tunguska. The right is the Republic of Saka. Then I pulled a distance. How much above 1,200 kilometers? 1,200 kilometers. The roar can be heard for 1,200 kilometers. It can be seen how much shock. Good evening with A. Earth's northern hemisphere the same thing. Silver cloud to emit light. Formation occurs in the upper atmosphere. At the same time use it to read a book. Night into day. Dark night becomes day southern Black Sea. Black Sea, oh look over there how far away from the Black Sea. South clouds cloud. White night confused all scientists. In fact, at night, but the standout day, are not volcanic eruption. Silver cloud with such glowing. What I do not know. Now do not know. Finally scientist with physicists. Doing so an explanation. This is one explanation. He said that our planet at this time. Involved in world space. Encountered some kind of cosmic cloud. Cosmic cloud. They said they did not know that existed. I am here to 2019 to 2020. We scientists now. Very advanced instruments. At the current technology to do a few interpretation. 30 kilometers diameter blast zone. Trees uprooted. The branches were charred fire. Note that I used the word lick. Lick the 1 to 2 centimeters. Even the bark is gone. Lick 1 to 2 centimeters. If it's late 3 hours. So where will rush? Rust over Moscow blast. If it's a few hours later, I can wait for everyone to see the road map. It is not a tree falls in the radial direction. 2 different center bombing. The first generating red radiation. Second guess. The whole layer of bark scraped. Note scarlet letter. Growth rings before 1908. Ring is 0.4 to 2 millimeters tree rings. After 1908 to be 5 to 10 millimeters. Notice how many times more than 5 times. And Earth's magnetic. In accordance with the Greenwich Ercusite, all change. Because he has a third magnetic amount. This is its explosive range. So you can see it at least twice. It is like the butterfly shaped, at least 2 explosions, and the distribution of tree. Its placement saying shape. At least 2 explosions. This is based on its view of NASA. I am referring to the red line and red line. That is the point of falling bombs. It then branches distribution. This is the NASA 2019 years of data. This is show up. This area which they do research. Radiant energy was discovered in 1927. Their radiation. Why is there radiation? You see their mushroom cloud has a radiant energy, and it will change the rings do not know. This is 1921 to 1929. They have a few slip through the net photos. I especially do not fill up you do not see, is not straight up bare. 1.2 millimeters was licked. The right is tilted down. Here is a whole branch. 1 by 1 to put up the, also put up 1 by 1 to the right. There are 20 to 40 kilometers. There are 20 to 40 kilometers wide so, from 1928 to 1938, some people discovered. Find the butterfly-shaped butterfly. The 2 graphics are 1928 found. Finally in 1942. He died in German concentration camps. His last remark. Why I cannot find a meteorite, he was very sorry. I have this picture in 1964. This is the flight path. This is from its west. He saw it from the east point. Drawn out of the track, from the book. I grab a book from out. This figure is very interesting. After several dozens of research institutes confirm this. What do you cares? Yeehaw, what comet asteroid? I do not know what. The earliest traces are from south to north. I am an arrow upward from below the south. Kashma this place to a sudden change. Turn for a position and a turn. Notes that twice orbit. The last fight in one place. If we do it this time orbit. It will then continue to move forward to Moscow. It is impossible to hit Moscow, because it has been changed twice rail. Why is this phenomenon that we do not know? Well, we now put Dear Boo videos. That is, February 15, 2013. Chelyabinsk in Russia. It comes in speeds of 30 kilometers per second. Airburst explosion about 55 kilometers high. And even fried 9. Then had. Probably about 10 to almost 30 meters. 10 meters big. 10 to 20 meters big, about 17 meters in diameter. Then probably weight. It is estimated that 1,000 to 10,000 tons. Then you see no pupils. All 1,200 people were injured. Because it is a glass-down epicenter. This situation, about 10 to 100 years before once. Chelyabinsk. I will give you C. Then it. In fact, we went to see this movie. It is also the first paragraph too, but only A. But behind the bombing. Snap the heavy rush out. You do not see the smoke coming out of the middle of so much worse. Tunguska, then all is not the same. It is black. Note that this is a white cloud. This is a white cloud. Notice the white cloud. It is a black cloud, almost completely different. So the inside. To imagine the space you very much. Imagine a lot of space. Scientists have no way to predict further. Well, I came alive again. Sanbu videos. Sanbu videos. Is a test of NASA to do. On the left is an asteroid or a meteorite. Hit a solid. The solid intermediate is solid. It's a shock out. Break out of the blast wave like this. The right is hollow. Nothing is the middle is empty. Hollow. It played out like this. To be a reference. That represents said Tunguska fried. This is because we do not actually see the people, so this is the lack of historical evidence, lack of historical data, lack of aerial photography. We have no way. We only according to the prevailing. I give 2 points. One is in the southeast in A. They observed different locations. Oral observed result of information received. So the 3 films. Your reference. Well, we return to this topic. Scientists 2020 No, January 24th. They are a series of studies. Israel Weizmann Academy of Sciences in 1975. Seismologists also went. This shockwave analysis, he found. I just say the beginning. 1,000 bombs. He said 1,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs attracted everyone's attention. He further simulation. The asteroid. Therefore, aerial, because it is actually aerial well, but do not rule out. 1 meter diameter fragments fall. This is very strange that he did not find. However, he published 2 papers in 1960. Then he does about the bomb site. He said that in this. Lake Checo Lake around. 1975. Comet in 1978. In 1978, Slovak astronomers proposed. This will not be a comet. He told you from the Taurus to tell you, since June is just Taurids. Now there. But the comet into Earth orbit. Probably 5 to 75,000 kilometers /h. But only half of it in 1908. 3,600 kilometers /h. That is probably close 3,600 kilometers. But also 1 to 2 kilometers per second speed. Very slow. Then the speed of the spacecraft was only equipped. You definitely more than this comet speed. Do not know. So it has a comet in 1978, said, but Red has played face up to him. The meteorite theory in 1980. Said the Kiev. Well, because local. So it is very complete information in Russian. It says this is a 4,000 tons of a meteorite fell. But cannot find craters. If a meteorite. Next there must be a lot of diamonds. They want to find diamonds. The results cannot be found even pit. Where's the diamond? Tunguska Big Bang on September 25, 2002. Said it was a bomb. At the same time measure the Big Bang. It's an area of trees. There are 850 square miles. Sorry, miles. This one is Uanches inland. Year is A. Fried made a flying west to east out of the body. Notice. Our final graphic is seen from east to west. From east to west. Then the equivalent of 1 to 2 10 million tons of TNT. 5 to 10 kilometers bombing. So the study in 2002. It may be empty fried. Height is 5 to 10 kilometers. In 2003, I went to an expedition team. This expedition he said the Tunguska event of 1908. See the situation. Like many saw earlier. But he did estimate radioactive isotope. Found values of the radiation on the inside. And the US military found that the degree of convergence. There are between from 0.2 to 0.5 kilograms. So very strange. Up to now 2003. But there are still radiation. Cobalt radiation with cesium isotopes. Meteorite explosion will isotope radiation. Type of atomic bomb material it appears. Do not know. This one is to see people in 2006. Sunset afterglow. See the trees have grown out. Well, this I do not speak. This is America. It has a special NASA in English. I do not speak my original. Something similar to something like that. I want to say here that this. Last February 15, 2013. Russia's Chelyabinsk. But the relatively small fireball. We can see. There is a pit saw no. This is on the ice. It was found inside meteorites. So which talked about this? It is equivalent to 550 tons of this explosion. This explosion has 1 million windows, resulting in 1,000 injuries. This is Chelyabinsk, year 2013. Well then like this. The NASA specifically for this published a series of articles, research on this topic, subject of study. All in all, I've placed this inside. Finally, I get to do a summary of this table. 65 million years ago. 10 kilometers pit. causing 180 kilometers of the pit. The pit does Earth mass extinction. The reason why humans. Then 50,000 years ago. Barringer also has a pit. 1.2 kilometers in diameter. It is 50 meters stuff. Falling from the sky. To Tunguska. I just give you C. Finally, it is estimated that 30 to 40 meters, airburst of such a thing, is not at a lot like Barringer. By ENG slightly a little bit, but the area it caused, definitely more than 1.2 kilometers. Definitely more than 1.2 kilometers. It is also airburst 5 to 10 kilometers. This is right out of the study. It then has 3 times the sound of explosions. And most importantly, it has turn. Their radiation turns. I will give you a look. Give you a look back at this picture. Tunguska explosion remains a mystery. Why and full of mystery? Relying on this picture, it turned out to be from the south to go up. Then kosher place. Turn right eastward. From west to east they say this paragraph. Because here observed from west to east. Then east by the west after. In the far right. The beginning of that place P. Noticed a big turning point. Such a big turning point. Meteorite's asteroid. It bunning Kanchi. How it can do this? Then align the rushing this place. So Tunguska explosion is still a mystery. And this mystery up to now, there is no way to solve. So the United States NASA. It took so much effort. Opened so many seminars. There are more than 1,000 individuals. Research is still ongoing here. The Tunguska explosion. What is causing? This phenomenon caused by it. The middle of the trunk. One by one, straight up, 1.2 centimeters of bark was licked off. Then all fell down on the side. And it is formed in this range. Like a butterfly. Like a butterfly. It is also like the distribution status. Can be seen now as before. It looks like the situation distribution. We can see this picture. There are 2 on the right side with the left diagram. The left is a stand-up. Licking of 1 to 2 centimeters. The right is the entire tree of dumping. So this figure basically. We really have no way to predict. What can cause this phenomenon? What can cause this phenomenon? So at the Tunguska. It's the biggest question that I sentence. I made a final end with this. Tunguska full of mystery. Radiation trajectory change. And then cannot find meteorites, so scientists have no way to put it. As is one of a series of meteorite. Well, thank you for watching. See you later.